it sounds like it's time to be different. What does that mean? For me, I guess it technically means being polyamorous. Although I don't like that word. I don't see anything. Bubbles is just confused. Good morning. I am standing in a shower stall to be able to get ready today because it's the weekend, so there's a bunch of people here and they're hogging the bathrooms, which is fully their right to do. They are the ones paying for this camping experience. I just live here. Got cricket up top. So there's many problems, right? We can all agree on that. Many of them stem from very simple things though. Incredibly simple things. One of our biggest problems is that we're an individualistic society and individualistic culture in general, so everyone is on their own journey, right? And at the end of the day, when it comes down to, especially like all of modern religion, you can't save anyone but yourself, right? That's kind of the whole point. Repent and then just you will get into heaven. You can't guarantee anyone else. Let's have that. My sweet boy. So if we're all just worried about ourselves, looks like that's how we got here, right? If we're all just worried about ourselves, our culture is totally fine with having a group of incredibly old men hoarding all of the wealth and power that this culture and land has to give. We're fine with the patriarchal society cult, because that's just the way that things are supposed to be, right? If everyone is awful, how can any of us be good? The problem with individualistic societies, it breeds our culture. It breeds the idea that everyone is on their own individualistic journey, and if they hurt you with that, that's kind of your own problem, and that's your own individualistic journey to deal with, right? If we could all just be better, the world would be a better place, right? Humans are just cursed creatures, destined to destroy, and you must repent because you are a human, right? Live your life in servitude to the other wealthier humans. So what does this mean for you and I? What does this mean for the people it actually impacts? Because we can talk all day about how none of us want to deal with patriarchal bullshit anymore. We can talk all day about the success of bonobos as a species, a matriarchal species, how females and women tend to lead a lot of other species, and how there were many, many, many human tribes that were matriarchal. But it's just this culture that is so goddamn stuck on the old wealthy man. And they're kind of the fucking root of literally all of our problems, are they not? He agrees. Within the individualistic society, the individuals themselves develop, right? And what happens is we get incredibly selfish people, and it's not their fault, it's not your fault, it's not my fault. It's this lie on top of all of the other lies that you are the master of yourself. And it is completely and totally up to you to do all of these things, like be happy, figure out yourself and what you want in relationships, figure out your life goals. And you're supposed to have all of these very specific ideals of who you are and what you are to prove that you deserve to exist, to prove that you are special, because all of us are special, right? No. That's another fucking lie. Honestly, we're not. We're all just humans. We're all just being here. And there are way too many of us. There shouldn't be this many of us. Hence why a lot of people are awful. Because if you live in a rat society where there's not enough food, not enough water, not enough, I don't know, let's say jobs, you start getting mean because it's an all-out for me thing, right? And if you're not even struggling, if you're just on the path of self-discovery, self-mastery, then what are you doing? What is life if not meant to be lived with other people? But even that is difficult. Finding the right people, finding the right ideals, because most people are infested with mother culture in some ways. There's no one that I meet that isn't. I was, up until super recently. I'm not saying all of this is like something that I've known forever. Alder's been an alien his whole life, but I did the thing. I went to college. I was a good girl. I did it. I even moved across the country for a corporate job and did that for 2 years. Ran a team of people, actually. Lots of meetings, lots of money, lots of money. I'm still in debt just like the rest of us. I won't be able to pay that So I'm sure you know that our individualistic culture is bad. I'm sure it's negatively impacted you. I'm sure you have negatively impacted others with your individualistic goals. What do we fucking do about that? What do we do when literally everything in this society is telling us to go be our own thing, do our own thing without people, and damn what they think? I think it's up to the women to change. I think it's as simple as that. Oh, here's a sneeze. Here's a sneeze. Yeah. Women, I think it's our time. I think the patriarchal society is falling right now. I think we're watching it happen. I know that you are your husbands. Women are the continuer of the species. We are the ones who actually make babies. There's a reason that the old men send the young men off to war. There's a reason that the old men with all of the power get the young wives. There's a reason for all of these things. And it seems like a daunting thing to come up against as just one individual, especially a lone female individual. I'd also make this very clear that when I say female, I mean what you identify as, because I believe, just like Alder, there are many individuals who were put in bodies that they don't necessarily feel at home in, but it was for a reason. For Alder, if he was a woman, we would have never worked out. I would have never had my massive body and mind physical change. I probably would have killed myself at 19 like I was planning to. I think just as the natives did, that those individuals are incredibly spiritually powerful because they have to be from a very young age, feeling the indicators of their assigned gender are not their own. It's not right, it doesn't feel right. Living your life like an alien makes you do things differently. That's why those people were shaman or two-spirited individuals were incredibly revered in native societies. So when I say it's time for the women to change in mindset, I include all women. I hope you understand what I mean. Your ability to give birth does not define you as a woman, obviously. So girls, girlies, what do you want? Because currently, it really seems like there's only two options, right, that we're given. You can either be a corporate boss babe, be a massive individual survivor, right? You can even do it with kids. Or you could have the nuclear family, the far right fucking aesthetic of your husband somehow brings home the bacon, he somehow makes enough at his job to be able to support you and your children. You don't have any life outside of that. That doesn't sound fun, right? Hence why so many women aren't having kids anymore. I want kids. I want them much sooner than most of my peers, actually. I'm 23. Ideally, I would have my first one next year. I don't believe that will happen. I think I'm probably giving myself 2 years as a goal. He's okay. He's just an idiot. So what do we fucking do, right? It seems like we have literally been put on this earth to work for other people. Everything is fucking awful. We're slaves. The people around us, like our parents or co-workers or other family members, they don't seem to be having a problem. But you do. That's why you're watching this, right? What's the answer? If everyone is on their own individualistic journey, how do you get them back? How do you unite people over one common goal? You don't. People have to do it themselves. People have to change their minds. People have to be forced into it. They have to be taken out of their security little comfort zones. I had to. I had a house that I lived in. I had my parents' house that they were paying for that I lived in. Like a lot of other young people right now, because you can't afford stuff. And that's a massive amount of security. But ultimately, my parents were also individuals at heart too. So when they got divorced, our little family unit broke down and kind of was shown to me that it was never really a family unit in the first place. It just was my parents being individuals and living together. So that's not the change. It's not just getting married to someone and having kids and then having that fail, right? That's not really any different than every fucking other one of us. So it sounds like it's time to be different. What does that mean? For me, I guess it technically means being polyamorous, although I don't like that word. Because again, with the individualistic cultural society that we have going on here, guess what fucking polyamorous means? It means that you don't get enough from your current partner, so you seek that out in other people. And that's not what I'm doing. That's not what Alder's doing. We are completely and totally fulfilled romantically and sexually by each other. But we want a different way of life. I've always been gay. I think most women are. If you have a very adverse reaction to that, I think you might be. I think most of the women who has incredibly adverse reactions to hearing me say that are a little bit gay, and it makes them fucking think about things. And there's been this weird, like, epidemic of, like, bi women who hate their male partners. But they won't just, like, go out and get a feminine partner. And if they do, it's not the same, like, there's this fucked up thing where women, like, see men as, like, the ultimate romantic partner, regardless of if males deserve that.
Cutting in here, I'm editing right now just to say that this is a patriarchal society expectation. We specifically make it so males are the ultimate protector, provider, ultimate partner, right? That's why there's so much internalized homophobia in women specifically. They can't go get a feminine partner. They can't go get someone they see as equal to, because it will never live up to a male partner, even though, like, objectively dating literally any woman is a better experience than dating just some random fucking guy. They still won't, it doesn't click. There's something. And I think those people are just built for a trio relationship. I think they're built for a relationship with both.
I know quite a lot of women in my life who, honestly, I think are a little gay. But instead of being able to, like, process what that means or think about different lifestyles, they just find the first, like, literally worst, most subpar fucking just some guy that they possibly can, and then they stick to him for fucking ever. Like, yeah, well, he doesn't text me back, or, you know, he actively cheats on me with other girls, or fuck, he leaves to a random fucking place because he's on his own individualistic journey. I'm talking about literally 4 different people with 4 different of my friends, girls who I think are a little gay, who all are dating the same man, because it's that specific kind of guy who's easily able to attract that kind of woman, right? Because they're incredibly, let me describe the kind of man. I think you've met him before. Very seemingly emotionally intelligent, very quiet, very reserved, because the only time he opens his mouth is to say something that seems very on the nose, very helpful, very whatever, but he keeps the fuck to himself because he doesn't actually have any of those other thoughts that would be necessary for the conversation, or he doesn't know how to identify them. He reads a lot of self-help books, so he can use that lingo, but not actually, like, use it. And individualistic journeys are what these men are all about, right? Because these girls attach to them, and then if you've got a really hot girl who's, like, attached to you, you don't have to do much except literally just be the fucking guy. You don't have to do anything, really.
Women are amazing at projecting, especially if you keep your mouth shut. There's a billion Sabrina Carpenter songs about it. You should listen to them.
So what happens? These girls who honestly could, like, go do anything with their lives get stuck in a location or just a state of being, stuck on this, like, random guy, honestly wasting their time every time. And this specific kind of woman is a little gay. So what does she do? She feels unfulfilled in her current relationship, even though she lies to herself saying that that's not the case. And then you get the really uncomfortable experience of being flirted with as a woman by another woman while her boyfriend's literally standing there in the conversation, because these women don't understand that they're flirting. They don't understand that what they're feeling is romantic, sexual fucking tension, because they're fulfilled. They already have a partner. It's not weird that they, like, want this other thing super intensely. And you can't have it. There's a, in my opinion, non-weird version of polyamory, where it's not just, like, you having multiple partners. It's multiple of you all being in a partnership together. For me, I found the man already. I found my, like, life partner and mate. We want another life partner. Someone who's similar to me. Someone who can help me with more indoorsy things that women just do. I want multiple children. I would love it if it was multiple children born by both me and another woman. More diversity in our family, more help, and more love. There's no reason that I would want to have that individual power or control over my little unit. 3 parents means one can die and your kid still has 2 parents, 2 full adults who love and cherish them and can help them into adulthood, and it's not a terrible experience. It would be traumatic, of course, but not as traumatic as losing one of your 2 fucking pillar support systems. And sure, you could say that like a trio would never work out because your relationships have never worked out. But then again, have you ever had a relationship outside of society? Have you ever had a relationship where you literally did not give a fuck about any single thing that mother culture has ever said to you? Have you ever had a relationship that genuinely just makes you fucking happy to be around those people, where you don't have to worry about money, where you don't have to worry about your kids, or time, or a living situation, or food? No, of course, I haven't either. My relationship is still impacted by mother culture because we still live in it. However, we tend to think differently. We want different things. We are very aware of our want for this third person, for this third piece in our familial structure that we are building. So it is technically polyamory, but that's only because that's the word that our society uses for it. But if anything, it's mostly just like monogamy with 3 people. And it's funny because inherently, when we'll be out in this situation, everyone will always automatically assume that Alder is the desirer of this situation, and I am just a willing compliant, and not that I was the one who actively went out to seek this because I know what I want. Women are familial creatures. Why would we not want to give them the love and support of having other women directly in the same position that they are with their family? If you're a mother right now watching, can you imagine having another woman who loves and cherishes your children just as much as you do? Someone you could wake up with daily, help you make breakfast, be in the same situation that you are, the same everything geared towards your kids. Does that not sound fucking ideal? Especially because your husband probably doesn't even know how to change a diaper. Or, when you ask for me time, he babysits his own goddamn children instead of taking care of them. I have no fears that Alder and I could have children successfully together, but I don't want that because that would just be following the same footsteps that everyone else did. When it didn't work out, I could absolutely see Alder and myself growing to not hate each other, but almost get there, because we would be putting everything in for other people. We wouldn't be getting anything back. There wouldn't be the right kind of reciprocation. With 2, it's just so goddamn hard. So why do you think polyamory is fucking outlawed? It's a lot easier when you have your own little familial tribe, right? That's all geared towards the same thing. I'm not saying you should go out and be poly right now. Or maybe I am. If you fucking want to kiss your best friend, I think you should go for it. I might. But I think that it is just a structure that makes sense. And I think you should think about the people that you surround yourself with. Think about what they want in life, what they think about. It's very easy to just get trapped in your own little circle of people that you talk to who are all going through the same things and all don't change very much. But the world is shifting, and specifically young women, I believe, are waking up. I was seeing a lot of headlines about how young women are leaving churches in masses, and how there's basically just like the young right-wing men who are looking around hoping for their future wives, and there's no one to be found because these women don't want to go into fucking slavery for no goddamn reason. And crazy, amazing that everyone's so shocked about that, right? So as a woman, what can you do? I think you can find a good partner. I think that there are some good males out there because I found one. I can't imagine he is the only person on earth who is the one good male. However, I think that you should also put a lot of effort into your relationships with other women. I saw a TikTok of 2 women who were raising one of the best friend's babies together, and it did not seem romantic. It just was the case, and it was so nice for them to be able to wake up and do things. Could it be romantic? Yeah. Does it matter? Fucking no, it doesn't. It takes a village to raise kids, right? That's why they're so unhappy right now, because it's just 2 people who can't even meet their own basic needs. Why are we so fucking shocked that there are no kids being born? I'll tell you, it's because literally everything's a lie. And also they don't care about us not understanding. It's actually better if we don't. So, I don't know, go fucking kiss your best friend. Go figure out what you want. I'm not here to go give you actual specific advice that directly relates to you and your life. I just know what I want, which is another woman who understands and thinks about things in the same way that I do. It doesn't necessarily mean that I want to find her and immediately have kids, immediately settle down. It just means that I want to start the process. Would you want kids if you had the support system for it? If you lived in a different world that actually gave you the things that you needed? I think it is incredibly important for those of us who have the willpower mentally to fight back against this and actually want to live for us and not just follow the societal rules that we were born into. I think it's very important that we actually go fucking do it. The only reason that the world will change is because people like us gave up on their stupid bullshit. The only reason that I'm doing this now, the only reason that I'm connecting to society is because I need money. And honestly, I would like to find that person. I would like to find that person who wants to share this with us. Maybe that'll be through this. Who fucking knows? I don't. But it's time for us to do something. And that something is not just continue working until martial law is fucking put in place. That something is actually living. Enjoying life with the people that you love, regardless of what kind of love that is. It doesn't even have to be defined. My life is made so much grander by just having a friend to enjoy time with. And specifically, that connection with women is something that I really miss. I do just love girls. Sue me. The only way that things will change is in mindsets and individuals. So we have to start changing from being individualistic to caring about others, regardless of what that means. For me, that'll look like a big family with another woman just as invested as I am. And children and land and space. And it will get done. It will happen. Easily. Once I have all of my pieces together. And she's one of them. I think it's a very big thing for bisexual women to figure out that they don't really have to choose. They don't just have to have their fucking male partner. They don't have to just be okay with one. And that's not selfish. I think that's a specific way of life. There's a reason that there are polyamorous ospreys, is there not? Actually, I had some polyamorous pigeons when I was little. It was my first introduction to the word. I had a lesbian pair of pigeons that was the best little wife duo, and they raised a bunch of babies on their own. And then one year, a young male lost his mate that he was obsessed with and was incredibly depressed, and they basically adopted him. And then they all had a lot of crazy sex and very long lives and a billion babies. And honestly, that's exactly what I want. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Doesn't that sound good to you? Just a thought. Let me know your thoughts. Love you guys so much. Bye.
You know, there's one thing that I forgot to say because it's so intrinsically known to me. But the biggest lie that everyone lives currently is that we actually need these old guys, all of the old men who are hoarding the wealth. I agree. We don't. We don't at all. We don't have any need for them, actually. We don't have any need for their ideals either. And I bet their ideals would have a big problem with having multiple women who were actually in charge of the family. Alder does what I tell him to. That's the sign of a good male. That's something that he would literally say himself. I bet those of you watching who identify as that would have a little bit of a problem. But that's why the future will be ours. We don't need you. And you'll figure that out soon enough. When it's too late. Old men don't learn. Guess who does? Good job, Cricket.